Thanks for joining us. I'm Lorelei Shamayo. This is Metaphysical Empowerment and Wellness Events. We host events throughout the Northwest, and we interview our readers, healers, and vendors so you get a chance to know who we are before you meet us at an event. So today I have Alethea Devi with us. So Alethea, lovely to meet you. And please share with us, what is it that you do? What will you be sharing at the events?
Well, I'm a shamanic practitioner living in the Portland area. I combine transpersonal psychology, spiritual counseling, energy work, the shamanic practices from the Andes and the Amazon jungle, as well as native indigenous North American traditions that I'm trained in all of those areas. I include ritual. I include family constellations together to help a person to more broadly understand all the ways that they are impacted and influenced, and ways that they can see this and shift it and heal it and live their life as fully as their heart desires.
Great. And do you share all of that at the fairs? Do you do portions of that or smaller samples, or like how does that work with people at events?
Well, of course, you can't just give them everything because that's a little overwhelming. So I start with a little sample. This is my bundle. This is my, it's called a mesa. This is filled with objects that connect me to my gifts, my teachers, and sacred places in the world. And I usually start with this. It's a scan of their whole personal energy bubble. It shows me exactly where the stuck energy is. And then often in a little conversation, we associate where those stuck energy places are with maybe some issues going on in their life at the moment. And so a little tasting like this is a short amount of time. And then that's to say, here's a possibility of what this could indicate. And would you like to go deeper? If we'd like to go deeper, I can meet video, or people come to my office and we work one-on-one. Sometimes I work with a group, but often one-on-one. And we use the art of conversation to kind of weave into those deeper areas. And then the constellation I use small chips on the table, or if we're working on the floor, I work with felt squares on the floor. Or sometimes when we're working in a group, each person can represent someone that is in my client's story. The cool thing about this work is that, like, if you wanted to represent my mother, you don't know my mother. But if I have an issue with my mom, you could represent her and tell me things that only she would say and feel. Mm-hmm. You would experience that. Because to me, this is the elegant way of demonstrating a unified consciousness field. So if you come to me, we could sit down and talk a little bit, and then I could show you the mesa, and I'd literally rub it over your body. And that gives me an indication where things are, and then we go from there. Sometimes when someone is in acute state, I do extractions. As a shaman, I have my own special place that I do this work because it's highly sacred. It's something that takes a bit of time, and one has to get in a special frame of mind and to relax the client as well. So there's a variety of ways, and depending on what you need, tells me what tool I should put out of my toolbox, let's say. Does that answer your question?
Yeah, that's great. And so how did you start doing this work? I'm imagining that you started on a psychotherapy path, and then how did the other things show up, or whatever order might happen for you?
Yes, I've always been interested in the psychology of spirituality and the spirituality of psychology. So I went to graduate school and studied at the Institute of Transpersonal Psychology, where I got my master's.
Mhm.
I also took their course for transformational life coaching. This does not require a license, but I do have to have an agreement of conditions of my service, let's say. So I have to, sign up and just say, yes, I'm going to be authentic and genuine in my presentation of my work. So that was, oh golly, 2008 or so, and graduated in 2010. From there, I was always interested in this Andean work, and I went to Peru and was initiated and have worked with a number of indigenous teachers from the last turn of the last millennium, like year 2000, until this present time. So just recently, last year, I earned my credentials as a facilitator for family and systemic constellations.
Mhm.
So that sort of builds on each other, as you know.
Yeah, and then your shamanic studies started earlier, like 2000-ish. Is that when you're connecting with different teachers? Is that?
Yeah, in a more focused way. I've always studied or experienced them on my own until when you're open to spirit and it calls you, whether you want to answer it or not, sometimes reluctantly. It says, you must come and dive into this deeper and make this part of your life. So you just do that. So I had a more focused effort then in the early 2004, when I joined a community in Southern Colorado and started attending sun dances and sweat lodge and all of those special ceremonies that are associated with that kind of community.
Mm-hmm. It's great. It's great. And do people come to you often with specific questions or concerns, or do they come just to explore and learn about your tools? And how does that happen?
Some of each. A lot of times just casual conversations, and people say, well, I have this issue with my mom or my dad, or I don't know why my brother's behaving this way, or a lot of times it's our relationships that grabs most of our attention, and that's what we spend a lot of our time worrying and fussing about. It's our relationships, because they're very important. It really gives our meaning to our life. So I said, well, let's do a constellation, see what we find out. And it doesn't have to be a real serious thing. It can be fairly simple and fairly lighthearted. You can use it with almost any object, but the idea of it is to find a system, a pattern of cause and effect that has rippled through generations. And so when the person comes to me and they're troubled, it's like, here's a person that's going to look at the dysfunction right straight on and say, here's the block to the flow of love. Let's shift this. And then they actually are responsible for helping their past generations and discontinuing that dysfunctioning, that hurt, for a future generation. So what a huge service you can do for your family.
Yeah. If people want to find out more about you on the web, how do they do that?
I have my website. I made it myself, and I'm very excited about that. www.revealedheart.com. And I also have a retreat going on in July, and you can see that on my Facebook page. And it's the Gaia Reunion Shamanic Experiences and Connecting to Mother Earth, happening on Finnan land out towards Vernonia. So that's a big event I want to plug. Mm-hmm. And I really thank you for all the efforts that you have done to put all of these new events together, because we are here to help each other evolve. And any opportunity I can find to be of service makes me very, very excited.
Oh, you're very welcome. I'm very happy to have you in the community. And for everyone listening, those events are 2019, and it sounds like you're very passionate about doing retreats, so there will be many more if that one has passed when you're watching. Great.
Yes.
Well, thank you so
So,
much.
oh, I was just going to say again, thank you. And did you have it? I think you had one more question.
No, I think we're good. So thank you so much. And for those of you watching and listening, you can find us online at MetaphysicalEmpowermentEvents.com. We look forward to seeing you at our events in Portland, Seattle, Salem, Eugene, and also online. We have fairs online now as well. Take care.
Thank you.